Good morning and welcome to Money Wisdom, sponsored by Johnson Brunetti. I'm Natasha Lubchenko. We're teaching you smart ways to manage your money, and here with expert advice is Eric Hogarth, certified financial planner and Johnson Brunetti partner. Eric, welcome back.
Good morning.
So today we are talking about retirement and something you call a retirement checkup. We're getting people in the right place to retire, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
all right.
Fantastic.
So let's
retire.
Let's retire. Let's walk through some things we should be checking up before that comes. Planning your retirement date sounds like a big one.
A lot of people do this. Like when do you want to retire? Yesterday, or never going to retire. Okay, well, chances are you are probably planning to retire at some point, and there's a big difference between I'm going to retire at 55, 65, never. I mean, that impacts your plan and the decisions you're going to make. Like if you're going to retire at 55, that's very different than I'm going to retire at 75. I mean, no duh, obviously, Eric. But have those conversations, because how you set things up are going to be impacted a lot by that.
Right, and it's important to be realistic about it. Don't say never. I mean, even if it's later, you got to just be realistic about when it's going to happen.
And some people do want it to be never. Like some people don't want to retire, and then that impacts the plan too.
Right, so all important to take note of. Now, this next one here we should be considering is to determine, our expenses in retirement and what they might be.
Yeah, I mean, I say it all the time. We need everyone. Whether you're 20 or you're 90, you need 3 buckets of money. Bucket number 1 is we all have a cost of living every month to keep the lights on, our basic expenses. Bucket number 2 is everything else, going out to dinner, fixing a car. And bucket number 3, you could live to be 100-something. You need some money that's growing for later. So step number 1 is figuring out that first bucket. And, your income's a lot of times going to go down in retirement. Do you have enough to cover your expenses?
All right, and now you say it's important to, before we get to retirement, to create and follow a budget.
Yeah, no one ever has a budget.
No, never fun.
It's not fun. I don't have one. Which is like, Eric, don't say that. But no, I don't have one because, I save money and here we go. But then you get to retirement and you're not saving money and you are spending money. And some people have never had this conversation, and a lot of times people, it's like, I'm really apprehensive. I don't know if I have enough. And they have like 5 times more than they need. And it's like, oh, great. And some people, that's not the situation. But you need a budget so you can be realistic about, can you retire? Can you retire, and can you stay retired? Like, not just do you have enough for now, what about 15 years from now?
Right. Well, in talking about being realistic, you say it's important to just build a flexible plan.
Everything's going to change. Your health is going to change. Where you live is probably going to change. Where you live when you retire is probably not where you're going to live forever. And maybe the state's going to change. You're going to go where your kids are, your grandkids. There's all this variability. So you need a plan that is flexible, because you might retire at 65 and be retired for 30 years. What were you doing 30 years ago? I mean, I was very young 30 years ago. But have a plan that you can make changes to, because you'll need to.
Right, that's important. Things definitely do change. And you do have a special offer for us, something that you love, that we love here on the show, a checklist.
I do like checklists. It's the retirement income planning checklist. And it talks about this stuff. And it's like, well, how do I have a budget? And it's not, the more specific you are, the more helpful it is. But it starts to fill in the lines. What are these numbers? Well, it changes. I know it does. Try and get an average. Go to moneywisdomtv.com. We'll get this to you. It's totally free. And it'll get you thinking about this stuff. And it's good to be thinking about this stuff, whether you're 50, if you're 35, maybe pump the brakes on your, perspective on this. But if you're 50, 55, 60, absolutely start working on this stuff and keep doing it.
Right, and then it must feel good just making those check marks one step closer to that date that everyone is going to set. Eric Hogarth from Johnson Brunetti, thanks so much. You can, of course, learn more, receive this offer at moneywisdomtv.com. We will see you right back here next week.